Sung Jinwoo faces a giant dragon, his shadow powers flaring bright against the dark sky. The dragon roars, its massive wings stirring the air as Jinwoo prepares to strike first. Jinwoo leaps high, shadow energy swirling around him as he aims for the dragon's head. Today we have solo leveling, Shi I 176 through 183. Subscribe for more recaps. The dragon snaps its jaws shut, missing Jinwoo by inches as he flips through the air. Jinwoo's shadow blade slices the dragon's wing, sending sparks flying into the stormy sky. The dragon screams in pain, its red eye glowing brighter as it turns to face Jinwoo again. Jinwoo dodges another swipe, landing hard on the broken ground below the dragon's claws. Shadow energy ripples across the battlefield, dark and crackling with raw, untamed power. The dragon takes flight, circling above as Jinwoo watches, ready for its next attack. Jinwoo slams his fist into the ground, sending a shockwave that knocks the dragon off balance. The dragon crashes into ruins, stone and dust exploding around its massive, scaly body. Jinwoo charges forward, his shadow sword glowing purple as he closes the distance fast. The dragon breathes fire, a bright orange beam that forces Jinwoo to dive sideways to escape. Jinwoo rolls to his feet, shadow energy wrapping around him like a living, protective cloak. He stands tall, his shadow form growing larger, darker as he prepares his next move. The dragon gathers energy in its mouth, a swirling red orb ready to be unleashed. Jinwoo counters with a blast of shadow energy, colliding with the dragon's fire in midair. The explosion shakes the ground, smoke and debris flying everywhere as both fighters stand. The dragon roars again, its voice shaking the sky as it readies another fiery attack. Jinwoo vanishes in a flash of purple, reappearing behind the dragon with his sword raised. He strikes hard, the blade cutting deep as the dragon screams and tries to turn around. The dragon flails, its tail smashing into the ground, sending shockwaves through the ruins. Jinwoo leaps back, dodging the tail as the dragon breathes fire in a wide, sweeping arc. He ducks under the flames, his shadow cloak flickering as he moves closer to the dragon. Jinwoo swings his sword, slicing through the dragon's leg, making it stumble and roar. Shadow spikes erupt from the ground, piercing the dragon's belly as it tries to fly away. The dragon crashes down, its body shaking the earth as Jinwoo stands over it, calm. Jinwoo raises his hand, shadow energy gathering into a swirling vortex above the dragon. He releases the energy, a massive blast that engulfs the dragon in purple light and smoke. The dragon roars one last time, its body glowing red as it tries to fight back with fire. The dragon's fire meets Jinwoo's shadow blast, a clash of light and dark that shakes the sky. A deafening crack splits the air as the two powers collide, sending shockwaves across the land. Smoke and debris fly as the impact clears, revealing a shattered battlefield beneath their feet. Jinwoo stands firm, his shadow armor glowing purple, as the dragon's form begins to flicker. The dragon swings a massive claw, but Jinwoo ducks just in time, the strike missing by inches. Jinwoo lands hard, sliding back as the dragon looms over him, its red eyes burning with rage. Jinwoo's face shows strain. Sweat drips as he realizes the cost of holding this power is steep. The dragon raises its head, voice booming, "This is my last offer. Join me or die." Jinwoo doesn't answer. He tightens his grip on his sword, lightning crackling along its edge. His shadow armor pulses with energy as he prepares to strike, eyes locked on the dragon's heart. The dragon laughs, flames curling around its fangs. "How foolish. You still think you can win?" Jinwoo's cheek bears a cut, blood trickling down as the dragon's words echo in his mind. Spikes of rock erupt from the ground, thrown by the dragon's tail, forcing Jinwoo to leap aside. Blades clash again, sparks flying as Jinwoo parries a slash aimed at his neck. The dragon roars, "You won't protect anything. Death will claim you all." Jinwoo counters, his sword flashing, "Even if I'm king of the dead, I'll still fight you." The dragon's face twists in fury. "Everything you love will vanish. It's already an illusion." Jinwoo grits his teeth, pushing back. "You forgot one thing. I faced worse than you." He swings hard, the dragon blocking with its wing. "This is the sound of war, of suffering." The dragon's voice booms. "This is the army of destruction. Humanity will fall." Jinwoo charges again, shouting, "Listen to their cries. I'll make you silence them all. He leaps high, sword raised as the dragon growls. Let their despair become your end. Jinwoo's eyes flash. I should be the one saying that. You're the one who's out of time. He strikes down, the dragon's armor cracking under the force of his shadow-infused blade. The dragon's tail whips out, but Jinwoo dodges, the air splitting with the speed of its motion. The dragon smirks. You thought a dagger made of my tooth could harm me? Fool. It laughs. Don't you find this amusing? A flame born in darkness, fighting light. Jinwoo lands on a cliff edge, dust swirling as he catches his breath, ready for the next move. The dragon's voice drops low. However, this fight is nearing its end. Jinwoo stands alone, staring at the dragon. I can see the end. The dragon sneers. Oh, so you give up? The dragon roars. That's right. The army of destruction doesn't need to find you first. Jinwoo stares ahead, voice calm. The sun darkens the shadows. He knows what's next. The dragon lunges, claws slashing. You stand no chance. Jinwoo doesn't flinch. Lightning crackles around Jinwoo's hand. He grips his sword, ready to strike back. He swings hard, lightning bursting from his blade. The sky splits with raw power. The dragon roars in pain as Jinwoo's strike hits. Its armor cracks under the force. Jinwoo's eyes flash. He holds his sword high, lightning dancing across his body. A beam of light slices through the dragon's chest. The monster freezes mid-roar. Jinwoo whispers, I wonder if you can see your own death. His voice is cold. He pulls his dagger, black and sharp. The dragon's eyes widen. He's out of time. The sky splits with a deafening crack. Lightning floods the battlefield, blinding all. Jinwoo stands tall as the dragon falls. The fight ends. He won. No words needed. He didn't expect this. He thought it was impossible, but it happened anyway. He remembers seeing no gate when he first arrived. The energy needed was huge. He asks where the ruler's army is. The sky fills with dark, winged figures. They ask if he aimed for this battle. He says he just wanted a fair fight. He kneels, hurt, but whispers. There was a way. He found a loophole. He reveals the vessels of the rulers still exist. They lend power to others. He used the vessels to open a gate here. The sky cracks with energy. He admits he lost the small battle. He focused on winning the whole war. A dark figure laughs, its voice distorted. It seems to mock the situation. He says Ashbourne sent his regards. He looks up, eyes glowing with power. The red-haired enemy screams in rage. He charges forward, sword raised. A red line splits his face. He stays calm, accepting his fate. A white-haired warrior strikes down the enemy. The blade glows with force. The red-haired enemy falls, defeated. His body crumbles into ash. A tall, winged figure appears. Light shines around him, pure and bright. He admits the world has too much light and shadow. He never stood a chance. He says he will wait until the eternal rest ends. He will meet them again. He tells the enemy not to worry. He will see them again soon enough. Rocks float in the sky. The battlefield is silent, broken, and empty. The sky is calm now. The dust settles and the fight is over. Two spear tips point down. The word rise appears. Someone is coming. The winged figure says the war is over. He doesn't know how to thank him. He asks for a request. He says it's something only the other can do. He says it's something only he can do. He looks up with hope. The winged figure agrees. He says he will do everything to help. He asks for just one more thing. He looks down, voice quiet. He asks if he can use the cup of reincarnation just once more. The winged figure stands tall. He looks down at the man, silent. He asks if the man just asked to use the cup to turn back time. The man nods. He says, that's right. He is ready for what comes. The winged figure speaks. He warns the man the cup's power is near its end. He demands the man face the monsters alone in the dimensional gap. The man asks why. The winged figure says they've tried this before, failed. A giant sword stands upright, stuck in the ground, glowing with power. The man looks down. He says he lost too many people in this battle. He stares at the sword. He says he wants to bring them all back. The winged figure warns him. The cup's durability is almost gone. He tells the man he'll be remembered if he stops now, but not if he goes. He asks why the man still wants to turn back time after all this. The man closes his eyes. He stays silent, thinking hard. He opens his eyes. He looks up, his face calm and set. Two women sit on a couch, watching TV, unaware of the coming change. A blonde woman fights a giant monster, her sword cutting through the dark. A man in a suit stands by a window looking out, waiting for something. A man yells into a phone, angry, while another man walks away calmly. The man raises his head. He says, "I will go back in time." The winged figure pauses. He asks if the man will save the whole world. He says the man's will reminds him of his own predecessor long ago. The winged figure nods. He says he understands and wishes him luck. The man stops him. He asks what happens to the shadow soldiers in the past. The winged figure explains. Beings that don't overlap with the past will die. The man smiles. He says, "Got it, I'm ready now." The winged figure raises his hand. He says, "May your courage save your world." Bright light floods the scene as the cup begins to glow and rise. The light grows stronger, filling the sky, blinding all who see it. The light splits the sky, a beam shooting down from above. The beam hits the earth, a flash of light covering the whole planet. The light fades, leaving the world changed, the past now rewritten. A man screams as another walks away, bathed in harsh light. The tension is thick. Two girls stand at a window, watching the city skyline. The sun paints the sky gold. The light grows blinding as they keep watching. The world outside feels distant now. A man in a suit stares coldly ahead. His expression shows he knows something bad. A lone figure stands on rubble, sword in hand. The city behind him is in ruins. A giant man grips a monster's head. His strength is clear, his focus unbroken. A man with glasses watches from the shadows. He smiles, but his eyes are sharp. A woman in black leaps with a glowing sword. She moves fast, aiming for her target. A young woman's eyes widen in shock. Her face shows she just saw something bad. A bright light explodes over Earth from space. It lights up the whole planet. The light fades slowly, leaving the planet calm. The sky looks peaceful again. The view pulls back, showing the quiet Earth. Stars twinkle around the blue globe. The camera stays on the quiet planet. Nothing moves, but the calm feels heavy. A tall apartment building stands under a clear sky. Life seems normal here. A girl asks Jinnah to wake her brother. Jinnah shouts yes from her room. Jinnah bursts into a room, shouting, "Appa." She looks excited and full of energy. A boy wakes up surprised. He asks if she knew he was already awake. The boy smiles softly at his sister. He seems calm, but his eyes are thoughtful. Their mother smiles as Jinnah eats. She says Jinwoo is awake and her room smells. The boy looks at his father, who reads a paper. He calls him father instead of dad. The father looks up, amused. He teases his son about calling him father. The boy turns away, thinking. He says he thinks he just had a nightmare. He looks at his family, then speaks. He says his nightmare is over and he's safe. He stands firm, looking ahead. He knows he can rewrite the future that waits. A school building appears. The sign says Creativity Train. He wants to pause. He sits in class, smiling. He thinks it's okay to enjoy this piece for now. He types at a computer, focused. He knows monsters are preparing to attack soon. He walks with a friend, smiling. He wants to stay here and enjoy this day longer. His mother stands by a chair, holding a knife. She looks calm, but her grip is tight. Her eyes narrow as she looks down. She seems to be thinking about something serious. He stands in a quiet room, his back to the desk. Papers and books sit untouched. A note lies on the desk. It says he'll return after finishing what he must do. A monstrous beast roars, its mouth wide. Sharp teeth gleam under dark light. The beast looms over broken ground. Purple energy crackles around its form. A giant shadow rises, glowing purple. Lightning flickers across its jagged edges. He stands small before the beast. His sword glows as he faces the towering foe. A streak of light cuts the sky. He leaps, aiming for the beast's massive head. He strikes the beast's face. Purple energy bursts as he lands the blow. He gasps, blood on his lip. He says he won his fight against the monarchs. He stands tall, armor glowing. Purple energy swirls around his dark form. He looks down, eyes sharp. His face is calm, but his body hums with power. He stands on a cliff. He says the long fight is ending. Only the Dragon Emperor remains. He looks up at the sky. He's glad time moves slower here than outside. He thinks of his parents. He wonders how much his sister Jaina has changed. A shadow figure speaks. It says all enemies here are now gone. He smiles slightly. His eyes glow purple as he listens to the shadow's words. He shouts, "Arise from the cliff." Shadow soldiers rise from the ground below. Birds fly over jagged peaks. The sky burns red, lit by the coming battle. A red figure speaks. It says they'll fight here, not run from the Shadow Monarch. The red figure smirks. It says it didn't expect him to use reincarnation to turn back time. The red figure says, it's time for one of them to rest in peace forever. The red figure bows. It says its name is Antares, second Shadow Monarch. He stares at Antares. He asks if the enemy has anything else to say. Antares says no. He stands alone, facing the beasts in the red sky. He charges forward, eyes blazing. Purple energy surges around his moving form. Antares lunges, claws out. Red energy swirls as he strikes at the hero. Their blades clash. Sparks fly as they meet, locked in a deadly, final fight. They crash into the ground. Dust and light explode as the battle reaches its peak. A fortune teller's words shook America. The god of death was coming to end the world. Norma Selner gave the prophecy. She warned of death and soldiers. No escape was possible. 2 years ago, Selner was enlightened. Her predictions always came true. She caused many scandals. A black hole appeared over Seoul. Selner's prophecy made headlines worldwide. People panicked. A man pointed up. Others looked shocked. Something strange was happening in the sky. The hole cracked open. Screams filled the air. People feared what would come out next. The crowd stared up. A dark shape appeared. They wondered what it was. One person asked if that was all. Another said nothing came out. They waited. A hooded figure stood under the hole. Someone held flowers nearby. The figure looked calm. A man smiled and held out flowers. He welcomed the figure back. He called them Shadow Monarch. The hooded figure spoke. They chose this form to avoid scaring people. They stayed calm. The man said it felt good to have someone welcome them. He admitted they thought they'd fail. The figure noted the man's heavy steps. They asked why he brought flowers. They stayed calm. The man said rulers had a message. He suggested they move to talk. The figure agreed. A hand scooped ice cream. The bowl had cute designs. It looked sweet and cold. They sat at a table with ice cream. The man asked why they chose this place. The figure explained. The figure asked what the rulers said. The man said they wanted to thank them. The figure ignored it. The man held glowing sparks. He said all problems were resolved. He looked serious. The man warned the figure's power worried the rulers. The figure just said, "So?" The man agreed it was possible. He looked thoughtful. He didn't seem sure what to say next. A spoon dug into ice cream. The ice cream looked soft. The spoon moved slowly. The man's eye widened. He looked surprised. He didn't expect this reaction. The figure glowed with purple energy. They asked if they were being discarded. They stayed calm. The man waved his hands. He said no, that wasn't it. He looked panicked. He handed over a phone. The figure looked at the phone. It showed Selner's article. They asked what it meant. The figure asked if their return caused the change. The man said yes, Monarch. He stayed calm. The man bowed deeply. He said he would do as the monarch wished. He stayed calm. A bright light flashed. People looked away. Something powerful was happening. The figure held the flowers. They said they had fulfilled their purpose. They stayed calm. The figure looked at the crowd. They said great power had served its purpose. They stayed calm. If that's the case, there'll be a lot of questions. The ice cream cups sat untouched. Song Jinwoo wondered if he'd become unnecessary. He muttered, "How meaningless." He stood still, his face shadowed. The bright light behind him made him look small. Jinwoo turned away from the light. A girl in green walked past, unaware of his pain. His eye glowed faintly purple. He clenched his jaw, hiding what he truly felt inside. He jumped back, startled. A pink spoon fell from his hand. He looked at the window. He watched the girl walk down the street. People moved around her, but he stayed still. The girl sniffed the air. She thought, did ice cream also smell so good? A girl with pigtails waved at a boy in a hoodie. Green sparkles floated around them. 3 men stood in a subway car. One yelled. The others looked bored, arms crossed. A woman pushed a cart in a grocery store. She smiled, picking up an orange. A boy slept on his desk, drool on his papers. His classmates ignored him, busy talking. A teacher pointed at a map on the board. Students stared, some nodding, some sleeping. Girls in school uniforms walked down the street. One smiled, her hair catching the sun. A man in black stood tall, holding a sword. Others below him looked up, scared. 2 workers argued near a digger. One yelled, the other held a shovel, ready to swing. A man in a suit walked fast, eyes down. Another man watched him, face serious. A man yelled in an office. A woman stood beside him. A girl in glasses looked up. 2 men faced each other, fists raised. One gritted his teeth, the other glared back. A man in blue gloves threw a punch. His fist glowed with energy as he struck forward. A man drove a car, eyes focused. A passenger in red sat behind, smirking quietly. A woman adjusted a man's tie. He stood still, looking at his reflection in the mirror. A man in shorts held a plant and a spray bottle. He smiled, watering his garden. 3 men stood side by side. One had purple hair, another had blonde hair, both serious. A man with a goatee looked out the window. He stayed quiet, hands in his pockets. Sunlight shone through leaves. The wind blew gently, making the leaves dance softly. A close-up of flowing hair. The light caught the strands, making them glow softly. A girl in a blue jacket turned her head. She smiled, her eyes bright and full of hope. Jinwoo stood alone in a crowd. The girl in green looked back. He said, "It's been one hell of a ride. Thank you for loving our series. I learned a lot. I'm happy and sorry for the flaws." The creator thanks all artists who helped bring the series to life, especially Park and Lee Magoon. He gives special thanks to Lee Magoon, who colored chapters to the very end, like family. Jinwoo stands calm, surrounded by monsters. His journey ends, but his legend stays. The police station stands quiet. A patrol car parked under its watchful sign. A poster inside promises protection, a cheerful officer smiling for the public. A man feels a strange loss, like he forgot something vital, but can't recall. The emptiness inside him grows heavier each time he tries to remember. Woo Jin-chul, a 4th-year criminal investigator, stands with a serious look. His partner asks what troubles him as they stand near a vending machine. He takes the drink, thanks his friend, and says they must focus on work. A screen above Criminal Investigation Team 2 shows a breaking news report. A suspect in handcuffs asks who the new investigators are entering the room. Another prisoner recognizes them, whispering about the men who just arrived. He claims a shadow rose from the ground and spoke to him, warning him. The prisoner screams, his face twisted with fear, begging to be locked away. He shouts, it's his fault, and begs to be put in a cell, not wanting to live. Jin-chul sips his drink, wondering how to report such a wild confession. His superior orders him to leave the report and head to the meeting room. The empty meeting room waits, its projector ready for the coming discussion. Jin-chul stands alone, his face tight with worry as he thinks deeply. His superior tells him to quiet down, warning others might hear their talk. He insists they should just release the prisoners and watch them for 24 hours. Jin-chul questions if the drug test showed nothing, confirming the results. The superior says higher-ups are pushing them to find a cause for the panic. He suggests they create a situation to make the prisoners talk about their claims. Jin-chul asks what they'll do if something truly dangerous happens. 2 men laugh at him, calling him an emotional type who believes in ghosts. One man pats his shoulder, saying they'll just observe one prisoner closely. He adds that if a monster appears, they should be grateful for the chance. The superior asks for a volunteer to join the observation. Looking at Jin-chul, Jin-chul stands firm, saying he'll go with them, not backing down. An old rusty warehouse stands under a dark, cloudy sky, waiting silently. A prisoner screams in terror, his hands bound, crying that he's going to die. Jin-chul stands firm, saying he'll go with them, not backing down. An old rusty warehouse stands under a dark, cloudy sky, waiting silently. A prisoner screams in terror, his hands bound, crying that he's going to die. Investigator Kim asks how much time is left before 24 hours, looking tense. One man shivers, complaining the air feels unusually cold and heavy. Someone thinks to themselves, sensing the air is different than before. Sungjae asks if it's time now, his voice low and serious. Jin Chul nods. The prisoner looks up, confused, wondering why nothing is happening yet. A man mocks him, asking if he got high or something, smirking. Another man urges him to speak up, saying they need to get this over with. The prisoner starts to remember, saying they really saw it that time. He adds, there were 4 of them at the start, his voice shaking. Jin Chul's eyes narrow, his face dark with sudden realization. He yells, "Get away!" as a shadowy figure lunges from behind him. Purple energy slashes through the air, striking the man hard. The man screams as he's thrown back, crashing into the wall. The prisoner looks up, eyes wide as the windows shatter from the force. He cries out, sweat pouring down his face, unable to look away. He lets out a choked "ah" as his body freezes in fear. He sees the monsters through the broken glass, screaming, "Ah!" A giant shadow with glowing purple edges rises from the ground. The monster towers over them, its form shifting and crackling with energy. The prisoner screams, monsters really appeared," his voice breaking. Jin Chul looks up, his face twisted in shock and horror. He shouts, 3 of them as well, as more shadows appear. The prisoner screams again, his mouth wide, tears streaming down. The monster strikes, its claw tearing through the air with a roar. Blood sprays as the claw hits its target, ripping through flesh. The monster's body rips apart, blood and shadow mixing in the air. The last of the monster falls, its form dissolving into dark smoke. He breathes hard, blood on his face, eyes locked on the fading shadow. His boots stand firm on cracked ground, stained with dark red drops. A monstrous shadow looms, purple energy crackling around its jagged form. The creature's head turns, glowing eyes fixed on him with silent threat. He blinks, confused. Did that thing just smile at him? He remembers the smile. It felt like it knew he was watching. He stands alone in the shattered room, asking himself why this happened. A man shouts, face red, praising the fight like it was a show. 3 men stand in a hallway, one with a bandaged head, silent. The man in green demands answers. Why didn't he call for help? The man with the bandage apologizes. His team was knocked out cold. The man in green warns them, keep quiet or face serious trouble. A sign reads, Criminal Investigation Team 3, above a glass door. A man sits at a desk, typing, thinking there must be more to this. His partner asks if he'll keep digging. He says it's personal now. They stare at the screen. So many criminals turn themselves in. One man leans closer. He thinks he remembers something important. He says it's nothing, just his aunt's book rental shop failing. His friend doesn't believe him. He asks again, then what? He laughs nervously. His friend looks at him, unsure what to say. He turns his head, eyes sharp. He'll remember that detail, just in case. The school building stands tall under a clear blue sky, quiet. Rows of windows reflect the sky, empty, waiting for students. Kids walk toward the entrance, backpacks on, unaware of what's coming. A single black shoe steps forward, leading the group into the building. A man in a suit sits at his desk, telling a student a troublemaker is coming to school. The student holds a file, explaining the new student's parents are ordinary people. He points to a photo, noting the student left home at middle school, not high school. The man in red smirks, calling himself Viper and promising to handle the troublemaker. Students line up on the track field, waiting for their new classmate to arrive. A teacher yells into a mic, demanding silence from the noisy crowd of students. Students stand in line, one glaring angrily at the new student walking among them. The new student, Sung Jin Woo, walks forward, his back to the watching crowd. A teacher points at Jin Woo, threatening to whip him into an obedient sheep. A gloved hand glows with dark energy, drawing the teacher's angry attention. The teacher shouts at Jin Woo, demanding he explain why he wears gloves at school. Jin Woo's eye glows purple, a dark power swirling around his head as he stares. The teacher's face twists in shock, his mouth open as he stares at Jin Woo's power. A single tear falls from the teacher's wide, terrified eye as he sees the glow. Jin Woo stands tall, purple flames rising behind him as he faces the crowd. The teacher turns and yells, ordering everyone to stand quiet and straight. The teacher wipes sweat from his face, wondering if he just saw something real. Jin Woo looks down, thinking the teacher must have seen his power just now. He wonders if this is one of the strange influences he feels in this world. Students gather in the classroom, whispering and looking confused at each other. Jinwoo sits alone at his desk, head in hand, staring at his open textbook. A classmate approaches, asking if he is Song Jinwoo, recognizing him from school. The classmate smiles, reminding Jinwoo they were classmates in middle school. He asks Jinwoo to step aside, then suddenly grabs his arm in surprise. Students crowd around Jinwoo's desk, staring at his gloved hand in shock. One student yells, asking if Jinwoo has a black flame dragon in his hand. Another student reaches for Jinwoo's glove, demanding to try it on himself. The student keeps asking why Jinwoo won't take off his glove, getting angry. Jinwoo's mind whispers, "My king," as a dark shape flies near his ear. He grips his glove tightly, refusing to let anyone touch it, his hand shaking. The student glares, demanding Jinwoo remove his glove, voice rising with frustration. Jinwoo stares at his scarred hand, remembering the Dragon King's wounds he couldn't heal. The students laugh, calling him a freak show, urging him to put the glove back on. A dark shadow whispers Klilek near Jinwoo's ear as he turns away calmly. He thinks it's fine to be peaceful, but his eyes glow with hidden power. Purple smoke swirls around his feet as he steps forward with quiet force. The students freeze, startled by the sudden shift in the air around Jinwoo. Jinwoo moves fast, knocking them down with a swift, silent motion. One student yells in pain, clutching his face as the others stumble back. He sits at his desk, whispering to the shadow. It's all a joke, just a joke. His friend walks beside him, noting how much Jinwoo has changed in 3 years. Jinwoo admits he trained hard, but his friend asks if he'll join a sports club. He considers extracurriculars, then says there's one club he truly wants to join. His friend looks confused, wondering what club could interest him now. The scene shifts to an empty school track, quiet under the bright sky. Choi Tae-woong, track team leader, stands on the field waiting for them. Jinwoo says yes, but clarifies only he wants to join, not his friend. The team laughs, impressed he came all this way to ask to join them. They question if he's a student athlete, but he says no, he has no experience. The captain frowns, explaining the team only takes scouted recruits, not beginners. Jinwoo stands still, back turned, hands clasped behind him, silent and firm. He thinks of Chao Hae-in, recalling how she gave up track to become a hunter. The captain sighs, agreeing to let him try, but only if he meets one condition. He points to a runner on the field, challenging Jinwoo to beat him in a race. The captain describes the runner as the worst recruit in 2 years, smirking. Jinwoo accepts the challenge, saying he'll give it a go, calm and ready. The captain explains the rules: win the race, join the team, lose, and he's out. The scene cuts to an empty office, books stacked high, quiet and still. A man slumps in a chair, looking tired. As a woman asks if he feels better, he sighs, thinking about smoking, but the thought fades as he stays seated. He lights a cigarette, staring out the window, smoke curling in the quiet air. Meanwhile, Song Jinwoo sprints on the track, leaving others far behind him. A teacher asks why Jinwoo runs with the team, surprised by his speed. They tried to stop him after the test, but his skills force them to let him run. His coach watches, tired, noting Jinwoo is on his 20th lap already. The man exhales smoke, eyes narrowing as he watches the runner below. He decides to watch without bias, hoping to clear the misunderstanding. But his calm breaks as he sees something impossible on the track. His face twists in shock, eyes wide, mouth hanging open in disbelief. He screams, sweat pouring down as his mind struggles to accept what he saw. Again, purple energy surges around Jinwoo, and the man shouts in horror. The energy blurs, swirling violently, swallowing the track in a purple haze. Tiny purple lights float in the dark, like stars in a stormy night sky. His scream continues, face contorted, sweat dripping as he stares in horror. A monstrous shadow with glowing eyes and jagged teeth looms over the track. The man turns, frozen, as the giant purple beast fills the window behind him. The beast's clawed hand reaches forward, glowing with dangerous energy. It roars, the sound shaking the air as the man screams in pure panic. He falls back, mouth wide, eyes locked on the creature above him. His colleague rushes in, shouting as the man lies on the floor, stunned. The beast whispers, "That's why I told you not to do it," then fades away. Wu Songdae asks Min Byung-gyu about the self-report case. He knows more than he lets on. Min Byung-gyu laughs. He hints. Wu Songdae already knows the truth about that day. Wu Songdae drinks his soju. He recalls the man who surrendered and then vanished. He remembers screaming faces and giant ant-like shadows. The memory still haunts him. Min Byung-gyu leans back. He confirms the creatures look like giant ants to him too. A man in a red jacket stands up. He stares at Wu Songdae with a serious look. The scene shifts to a school track. The sun shines on the empty running lanes. A young runner shouts. His team's goal is to win the whole country, not just regionals. His teammate argues. He thought their goal was just to win the regional championship. The captain yells back. He insists they must sweep the entire country, not just regions. The runner gasps for air. He struggles to keep up with the intense training pace. A dark figure watches from above. He thinks humans are foolish for their efforts. The runner stumbles. Purple energy swirls around his legs as he loses his balance. He panics. His body heats up suddenly, and he has no idea why it's happening. A voice mocks him. The newcomer should act more like a leader, not a weakling. Min Byung-gyu watches from a window. He sees the runner struggle from above. He frowns deeply. The memory of the ant monsters plays in his mind again. He mutters to himself. He wonders if the monsters had human bodies with ant heads. He shakes his head. He thinks he must be drunk to say such things out loud. Wu Songdae turns to him. He asks for more details about the ant monster story. The dark figure speaks again. He says the monsters are linked to the voluntary surrender. The scene cuts to a building. The sky is clear, but something feels off. Wu Songdae stands alone outside. He looks around, searching for answers. He thinks hard. He believes there's a loose link between the two separate incidents. He asks a man in a suit. He wants to know if he knows anything about the ant monsters. A purple shadow moves. It slithers across the ground near the man's feet. The shadow grows darker. It creeps closer to the man, unseen by him. The man still stands there. He doesn't notice the shadow moving near his shoes. He suddenly looks up. A question mark appears above his head as he senses something. His eye widens. A single drop of sweat falls as he realizes he's not alone. The man still stands there. He doesn't notice the shadow moving near his shoes. He suddenly looks up. A question mark appears above his head as he senses something. His eye widens. A single drop of sweat falls as he realizes he's not alone. A lone figure walks down a quiet street. Tall buildings stand silent behind him. Inside a classroom, students whisper. An investigator stands before them, calm. The investigator speaks. He says he came for Sung Jin Woo, a student in this class. Students react. One thinks Jin Woo must have caused trouble to draw this attention. The camera pans up. Empty hallways and quiet windows show no sign of danger. The investigator pulls Jin Woo from class. Jin Woo nods, calm and unbothered. The investigator speaks. He says it's been years since he last saw Jin Woo. He admits he's glad to see him, but he's surprised Jin Woo still looks so young. The investigator stares. He notices something strange in Jin Woo's quiet eyes. Jin Woo's eyes glow faintly. The investigator wonders how a student has such eyes. The investigator asks if Jin Woo knows about Shadow. Jin Woo answers, "No, Aunt." The investigator shows a picture. It's a dark, monstrous figure with glowing edges. Jin Woo looks at it. He says yes, he remembers something when he sees it. The investigator leans in. He asks what Jin Woo knows about the monster. Jin Woo answers. He says it's just a monster from a special effects drama. The investigator laughs nervously. He says kids like to watch those kinds of shows. He sweats. He realizes Jin Woo is pretending not to know the truth. The investigator thanks Jin Woo. He says he spoke to the teacher, no issues. He asks for the picture back. Jin Woo holds it up, smirking. A shadow laughs. Jin Woo hands over the picture. The investigator takes it, still uneasy. The investigator walks away. Jin Woo watches him leave, silent and still. A shadow speaks. It asks why Jin Woo didn't tell the truth to that man. Jin Woo stands alone. He says forgetfulness is a gift from God, even if artificial. Back in class, students gather. They ask Jin Woo what the investigator wanted. Jin Woo shrugs. He says the investigator just had a personal question for him. A girl laughs. She says she saw Jinwoo running with the track team recently. A boy grabs Jinwoo's arm. He says Jinwoo must be popular if police come for him. A boy laughs loud. He forgot to tell Jinwoo about the welcome party after school. Captain Troy asks Jinwoo where he plans to take the guys. Jinwoo looks unsure. Jinwoo suggests a light jog around the track. The others cheer loudly in reply. The school track sits empty under the setting sun. No one is there yet. A boy asks if Jinwoo wants to scare the others. Jinwoo says he'll behave. Jinwoo turns his head sharply. Someone calls his full student name from behind. A man in black steps forward. He asks Jinwoo to continue their talk for a moment. Jinwoo stands still. He looks at the man, then glances back at his friends. The boy yells he'll take Young-gil hostage if Jinwoo is late to the party. Bare trees stretch across the sky. Long shadows fall on the quiet path ahead. Jinwoo tells the man his friend is waiting. He won't talk for too long. Jinwoo looks up. The warm light hits his face as he waits for the man's words. The man says, "Hunter Sung Jinwoo." His voice is calm, but his eyes are sharp. The man smiles slightly. He says, "As I thought. So it was you." He knew all along. Hunter Sung Jinwoo stands. His name spoken by a shadowed figure behind him. Thomas Andre smiles, confirming Jinwoo is the one he expected to see. Andre thanks Jinwoo for his time, then asks if that was all their meeting. Jinwoo offers a monster picture, but his shadow creature protests loudly. Andre takes the picture, thanks Jinwoo, and holds it in his gloved hand. He crumples the paper, dismissing it as nothing special or noteworthy. Andre walks away, thinking some events leave huge marks on history. He pauses on the stairs, muttering to himself this was a dumb idea. Andre turns, asking the association chairman if he truly trusts him. The chairman stays silent, a question mark appearing above his head. Andre stands still, hands in pockets, waiting for the chairman's reply. He stands alone in the hallway, the empty space echoing his thoughts. The chairman finally speaks, his voice firm. "Yes, I trust you." Andre looks up as visions flood his mind, showing a world he forgot. He calls out for Jinwoo, desperate for help as the visions overwhelm him. Andre falls to his knees, shouting Jinwoo's name as the world spins. He sees visions of himself, through Jinwoo's eyes, in a forgotten world. A memory flashes, a man in a suit, walking under a tree, smiling faintly. The vision shows a man in sunglasses saying, "The double dungeon was key." More memories flood in. Stories of gates, monsters, hunters, and rulers. Andre sees himself smiling, then his face twists in shock and disbelief. He gasps, "This can't be," as the weight of the visions crushes him. His hand clenches, asking how such a thing could even be possible. Jinwoo stands before him, calm, as Andre struggles to understand. The light shifts, casting long shadows as the two men face each other. Jinwoo's hand tightens into a fist. His answer simple and final, "Yes," he explains. Memories of higher beings aren't changed by time's flow. A man shouts, "Don't be late," holding a child hostage for a welcome party. Two men walk in a park, one asking how long they fought dimensional beasts. Andre listens, learning Jinwoo disappeared for 2 full years according to records. Andre thinks some problems can't be fixed in just 2 years. He whispers, 27 years, as he looks away from Jinwoo. Sunlight hits his face as he stares into the distance. Jinwoo says he regrets nothing, even if he could choose again. He admits he's happy, though his body won't age anymore. Jinwoo has eternal youth and godlike power, but chooses to stay human. Andre asks if he's thought about his future plans. Jinwoo says he hasn't planned that far yet. Andre suggests joining the national police to help others. Jinwoo smiles, thinking about the offer quietly. Andre says he'll wait for Jinwoo's decision. Jinwoo begs him not to, knowing the work is too hard. Time passes, and a traveler calls for help in the desert. The dispatcher asks if he's lost or in trouble. The traveler says it's urgent, but hard to explain. The dispatcher insists he describe what's happening. He says something is about to shatter, and cracks are everywhere. The dispatcher asks if buildings are falling in the desert. He looks up and says, "The sky." The sky cracks open with loud, sharp sounds. The moon shines over a quiet building at night. A dark figure speaks to Jinwoo about the 24th question. Jinwoo turns, surprised, as the shadow looms behind him. He licks his lips, sensing something strange in the air. A bright sign reads Cafe Peony outside a cozy shop. A man with spiky hair sits, sipping coffee, waiting. He asks Jinwoo if this is his doing. Jinwoo denies it, saying their methods differ from his. The man explains outsiders called Titans are coming. They eat rocks to survive and now set their eyes on Earth. He confirms Jinwoo's guess, then adds a chilling detail about a vanished timeline. Jinwoo sips his coffee, calm but aware he's now the center of this crisis. The man reveals Titans hunt the monarch's power, a truth rulers believe. He says, rulers sent heaven's army, but Jinwoo knows it's already too late. Jinwoo's eyes glow purple as he vows to handle the Titans himself. The scene shifts to a desert base in the western U.S., quiet and isolated. Caution tape wraps a fence, warning anyone from entering the restricted zone. A general studies the sky, stunned by a phenomenon he's never seen before. Lightning cracks above as the general looks up, shocked by the power. A soldier stands guard, unaware the sky is about to unleash chaos. Tanks explode mid-air, shattered by an unseen force tearing them apart. Debris rains down as the base is torn apart in a deafening blast. A giant glowing symbol appears, marking the start of something terrible. Jinwoo stands alone on a cliff, watching the destruction he predicted. He declares the stage is now set for what comes next. His eyes glow again as he feels the Titan's breath closing in fast. He summons dark, crackling weapons from the sky, ready for war. A massive, lightning-wreathed sword forms before him, crackling with power. He reaches for the blade, knowing the enemy he faces is a monarch.